We reach a turning point in the Mars retrograde cycle as the Sun opposes Mars between Monday, January 13th and Friday, January 17th. Expect a lot of direct, combative, and competitive energy. I'm here to break it down and talk about it for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you enjoy my work, please show your support by leaving me a like, a comment, pressing the subscribe button, and pressing that notification bell. Watch more of my content. It brings more attention to my channel, helps me grow. I have recently hit 20,000 subscribers. Thank you for being one of them if you are, and if you're not yet, please subscribe. You can also say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, a little token of appreciation. Thank you for doing that. Before we dive in, if you have questions about your natal chart, you are struggling in your relationships, you want to understand how compatible you are with your partner, or you want to know what the year ahead has in store for you, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Until the end of January, my year ahead readings are discounted. You can get $20 off the in-person consultation with the coupon code 20, letters, lowercase, 25 numbers. Or you can save $40 by getting a recorded reading in the shop section of my website. In the shop, you can also pick up a recording of the webinar I did with Rux, breaking down the 2025 horoscopes for all 12 signs. Those are 15 to 20 minute horoscopes talking about all of the important transits, giving you tips and guides for the year to come. Check out my website for that and pick up my 2025 astrology planner. The year has just started and this holds so much goodness, a space to put in your chart, insights to learn about astrology, information about lunar phases, lunar guides, lunar signs, houses, zodiac signs, spaces to set your intentions, information about new moons and full moons, calendars, and so much more. A great tool for your year, especially if you are an astrology fan like me. And since we are in the Mars retrograde phase and Mars opposite the Sun is potentially the most inflammatory and irritating part of the phase, I highly recommend my Mars Cazimi candle, which captures Mars in the sign of rulership Scorpio, enhanced by its presence with the Sun. This was created at a unique time using ingredients that are representative of Mars, and it captures and enhances the energy of Mars. So it can help you find courage, express your energy in a more consistent way, start projects, finish projects. It can boost your sexual energy. It can also encourage you to exercise and help you reach fitness goals, and so much more. Highly recommended for those born with Mars retrograde. If your natal Mars is in Cancer, Libra, or Taurus, signs of fall and detriment, and if your Mars is in the 8th or 12th house, which are the dark houses where the energy of Mars is a bit more self-negating, a bit more complicated. So what's exciting about this transit is the fact that when Mars is opposite the Sun, it's the brightest. So you're going to see it at night. Definitely look up. And if you see the bright star looking object, it is likely to be Mars, because when it's opposite, it gets all of the light. And so Mars being at this place, like I said, it's a half point in the retrograde. It is Mars really far away from the Sun. Mars has a cycle that begins with the Mars-Sun conjunction, and that is the time, which is the time of the Cazimi, which is when this candle was created. So that was the beginning of a new cycle, right? The new energy where the Sun and the Mars come together, and the Sun purifies the warrior. It sets the warrior on a mission with a noble purpose in sight. When Mars travels, right, at some point you can think of it as the warrior seeing a lot of darkness and starting to question its purpose, and it gets dissatisfied, it gets lost, it gets uncertain. So when Mars is retrograde, we may feel dissatisfied, lost, uncertain, especially if you have strong Aries and Scorpio placements, because those are the signs ruled by Mars. So your chart ruler is currently on its journey towards the underworld, right? It's sort of confused, it's lost its mojo. So when the Sun and the Mars oppose, it's like a standstill. You have oppositions are of the nature of Saturn. So here you have this rogue soldier opposing the king that was like, I thought we were working as part of the team, and Mars is like, no, you lied to me. So there's potentially a lot of dissatisfaction. Before we talk a little bit more about this, know that this transit, the exact moment of the transit, occurs at 9:38 p.m. on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. But you begin to feel it from Monday, January 13th and Friday, January 17th. So it's quite active for about 5 days. And it occurs at 26 degrees, 12 minutes Capricorn and Cancer. The Sun is in Capricorn, Mars is in Cancer. So if you have planets between 23 and 29 degrees of Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, or Libra, you're likely to feel this irritating rogue warrior type energy the most. So let's talk more about the symptoms, right? And then break it down for the signs. But the Sun is the guiding light. The Sun is the king. It's noble. It represents the vision, the purpose, the calling. And then Mars is the action hero. Mars is the one that actually goes there and takes action. Mars takes steps to make things happen, right? In your chart, if your Sun and Mars are conjunct or they're in a trine or a sextile to each other, usually your actions are quite supportive of your desires, versus if your Mars is square, your natal Sun, sometimes your actions might contradict your calling. Let's say if your Sun is in Gemini and your Mars is in Virgo, Sun in Gemini wants variety, well, Mars in Virgo gets stuck trying to perfect the detail of one project, right? So here we're talking about Mars opposite the Sun, right? Like the Sun in Capricorn might desire success, rewards, recognition, authority. It wants to like step up and take care of people. And Mars in Cancer is emotional. It's like upset because of all the darkness it has seen, and it's a little bit moody, and it's a little bit like confused, and so it's harder to get our goals right, to get like the levels of courage and emotionality correct, right? So expect battles, right? Expect this sort of competitive energy, because the consciousness is against the animalistic impulses, the drive. So there might be inner tension internally as you try to achieve your goals, but you really just want to take a nap or go for a swim. Or externally, you're maybe dealing with some kind of competition, right? The Sun might be you, let's say if you're a Leo rising, and Mars might be other people, maybe family members, because Mars rules your 4th house of home and family, maybe teachers. And so you're dealing with some kind of competitive, combative energy. And the more patient, the more subtle, the more strategic you are in your approach, the better. It's not the transit to like sort of push through. You should continue to be direct, right? You should continue to stay high-minded and assertive, but doing that in a moral way. It could be a good transit for fighting for like the underdog or fighting for people in need. And it could be a really good transit for sexual exploration and maybe even competitiveness, like competitive pursuits, as long as there are some clear rules, because Mars in Cancer sometimes might like try to avoid conflict or try to keep peace. So, but like it's not always the most like assertive placement. So it's good to have clear ABCs to follow. Avoid taking risks. Be careful around this time, like lifting really heavy weights, driving really fast, because sometimes it could also like you can burn yourself, you can cut yourself, you can stumble. There might be a higher risk of accidents. So work through it with patience. Do some kind of physical activity, like have sex or exercise. Avoid being too sort of combative, right? Instead, you may actually benefit from like working solo or like retreating and problem solving on your own until the energy of this transit starts to clear. We do have simultaneously around the same time Venus-Saturn conjunction building, so I think there should be quite productive energy happening simultaneously. So I am hopeful for all of us. If you want more guidance, my year ahead readings are discounted until the end of January. Save $20 on the in-person consultation with the coupon code in the description, or pick up a recorded reading and save $40 in the shop section of my website. In the shop, you can also get a recorded 2025 horoscopes webinar I did with Rux. So let's talk about the 12 rising signs. If you are an Aries rising, the sun in your 10th house will oppose Mars in the 4th. And here you're dealing with the professional image and professional goals versus what's happening in the home, versus some potentially drama in the home, right? Like Mars might suggest that your children need you, or your family needs you, or you're dealing with some type of living situation challenges, and that is taking you away from your home life. There might also be a sense that something is triggering the childhood wound, or something from your past is holding you back. And so with the sun opposite Mars in the 4th, you are encouraged to address childhood wounds or heal anything from the past to help you move forward. Mars does rule your 1st house of identity and your 8th house of healing, shared resources, death and rebirth. So, and the sun rules your 5th house. So yeah, it's interesting because it does feel like there's maybe some type of tension between your goals and what authority figures are expecting of you. Maybe there's some tension between your desire for stability and your professional situation. There might be a tough choice involving your home living situation, your comfort and security that is affecting your career as you're trying to balance your desire to be at home, with family, be sort of comfortable and at ease versus what your professional goals are. So try to be patient. Maybe it's a good time to do some kind of like physical labor type project in the home to express some of this tense, irritant energy. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and pick up a reading on there. If you are a Taurus rising, the sun in your 9th house opposes Mars in your 3rd house. And here you have the big vision, the desire to grow, to travel, to relocate, to write, to publish, to be known for something. The sun is in its joy in the 9th house. It likes this sense of constant questioning and discovery, versus Mars in the 3rd, and maybe there are some logistical issues. Maybe there are some communication difficulties. Maybe there are some sibling conflicts with siblings and them not letting you get to your goal. Maybe there's some bureaucracy or technical issues or like tough communication conversations delays. Like Mars in the 3rd is very much urging you to address your everyday life and to have those conversations before you kind of get to a place of expansion, right? Mars rules your 12th and your 7th houses, Sun rules your 4th. So there might also be some kind of tension between your partner or your relationship and your family, if we consider that Sun rules the home, family, living situation. Maybe you have a foreign partner that you're trying to bring into your homeland, but there is a little bit of like a logistical difficulty that you're facing. It could be like over here, be especially mindful of like driving too fast and pushing yourself too hard, because Mars is in the 3rd house, and it could suggest like, you know, scheduling issues or some type of like disagreements. Maybe conflicts escalating. I would urge you to move slowly and to be very mindful of what you're saying around this time, because like ideological battles, conflicts with some authority figures, teachers fighting over like somebody gives you a B and you fight with them because you disagree and it turns ugly and then you get a C. So just move slowly. If you are a Gemini rising, the sun in your 8th house is opposing Mars in the 2nd. So here you're dealing with the values of the partner versus personal values. Your desire to partner up with someone, the sun also rules your third house. So maybe you're exploring new business ideas, new partnerships, new skills and hobbies and new interests, and you're like thinking of bringing them into a relationship maybe. Versus Mars in the second. Mars rules your 11th and 6th house, and there might be some tensions when it comes to your existing workload, when it comes to your friendships. But it's ultimately about your values versus the values of other people. It could be a bit difficult around this time to try and balance those things, to try and negotiate things. The sun does rule your 8th house, so the sun does rule your 3rd house. So you do have the power to communicate about those things. So I would make sure you like discuss things and avoid making major financial decisions around this time, because Mars is retrograding in your 2nd house. It could suggest that there are like some unexpected spendings popping up and some financial troubles that you didn't know about. So be kind of wary, be mindful. If you're looking for more guidance, check out anastasiadoesastrology.com and pick up your reading on there. If you are a Cancer rising, the sun in your 7th house will oppose Mars in the 1st house. So here we have your personal goals, your initiative, your energy, your desire to take care of your health, to change your life, in opposition to what your partner or your partnership needs. Maybe you have a plan to start a new job and then your partner gets sick and wants you to stay home with them. Maybe you have a plan to move, but once again, there is some type of relationship or a contract that you signed that you need to get out of. The sun rules your 2nd house of money and values, and Mars rules your 10th house of career and 5th house of romance, pleasure, and children. So somehow there's also tension between your values and your current professional situation, or even some demands maybe of your child, some sort of matters involving your child. So it could feel frustrating. It could be a little bit difficult to balance those things, but I think if you're patient, if you are discerning, and if you're careful with how much money you spend maybe, and like if you clearly state and understand your priorities, then there is a way to carefully navigate it and perhaps create like a list for yourself and go from 1, 2, 3 all the way until the final step. For more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can get a relationship, natal, or predictive reading on there. If you are a Leo rising, the sun in your 6th house will oppose Mars in the 12th house. And there might be some conflicts with colleagues I can see here. There might be some type of self-defeating tendency that is becoming more apparent, and that it's affecting your health maybe, or it's affecting your work life with Mars in the 12th house. There might be some type of like emotional issue that is starting to spill into your everyday life. You may be becoming way more aware of how your thoughts and how your mental health affects your physical health, or how your physical health affects your mental health. The sun currently in your 6th house is your chart ruler, so it's being opposed by Mars, which rules the 9th and the 4th. And so there might be just like too many demands on you. There may be some kind of heaviness around paying rent or a living situation, or even heaviness around what the family expects of you, that you're having to address. That like make sure that you're not just carrying too much on your shoulders, and it could be an invitation for you to speak about all the things that you are feeling frustrated about. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and pick up a year ahead, a natal, or a relationship reading on there. If you are a Virgo rising, the sun in your 5th house opposes Mars in the 11th, and you are looking at your creativity, maybe your desire to date, your desire to play, your desire to have fun, being somehow limited or restricted by people around you. Mars in the 11th could suggest that there is some type of conflict with a friend, or a friend being passive aggressive, or a friend is going through an issue. A friend might be dealing with some kind of financial difficulty. Mars does rule your 8th. And so you're having to figure out whether you know, how can you still be creative, and how can you maybe enjoy a good time with your partner or spend time with kids as your friendship is going through a difficult time. There might also be some type of drama on social media with Mars in the 11th house, maybe people leaving you messages that feel aggravating. Also, yeah, just some kind of like financial matters that are affecting your peace of mind. Move slowly, move steadily, try to problem solve the conflicts as they come up, and try to make sure you're not spreading yourself too thin and not getting too caught up in the friendship drama. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and pick up the year ahead reading. You can save until the end of January. Information is in the description. If you are a Libra rising, the Sun in your 4th house will oppose Mars in the 10th house. And you're dealing with your desire to stay home, to connect with family, to expand your living situation against the bosses. Maybe you wanna go on a trip, or you wanna go visit your family, but your boss is giving you more work to do and like extending your contract, and it feels frustrating. Maybe you're very much running into some kind of like practical financial considerations, right? The Sun rules your 11th house of hopes and dreams, and Mars rules your 7th and 2nd. And so there might be financial matters that are making you work hard because you need more money. So it's like this difficult situation where you want to be with your family, and you want to maybe get a bigger home for your family, but in order to do that, you have to work more, and you have to not be with your family. So it's a bit difficult. It's definitely irritating. There might be authority figures, there might be bosses, people in power that are frustrating you. So try to stay patient and be clear about your priorities, and try not to let work drama affect your peace of mind. Maybe there is a way to compromise, and you don't need to just forget about your happiness and sacrifice yourself. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com, pick up a year ahead reading, and save until the end of January. Information is in the description. For the lovely Scorpio rising, the Sun in the 3rd house opposes Mars in the 9th house. And here you have your desire to travel, your desire to study, your desire to change your everyday life, versus some type of legal matters, versus some type of like conflicts of values, versus logistical issues. Like, you know, Sun in the 3rd versus Mars, opposite Mars in the 9th, could be your desire to go on a trip and your visa doesn't get approved. There might also be a lot of like ideological debates or conflicts with siblings, conflicts with neighbors. Maybe, you know, you're disagreeing about the size of your fence and you're getting in a fight over something seemingly very silly. The Sun in the 3rd also rules your 10th house, so I think your desire to kind of change your life might be connected to your professional life, where you're transforming your career, or you're opening yourself up to new possibilities, maybe wanting to be more independent. And the opposition to Mars in the 9th, and Mars is your chart ruler, it also rules your 6th house, suggests that it's currently really hard to be independent because perhaps you are you have to rely on other people, and other people are not being the most supportive. Yeah, and it could be really some kind of, you know, like conflict of values where you're fighting about the similar thing, but you have like different languages where you're talking, or like you're using different verbs, you're using different words to express your point. So heated conversations are quite likely around here, and drama with like teachers, lawyers, drama around beliefs, religion, politics, all of that. So be careful as you navigate the difficult, heated energy of this transit. For Sagittarius rising, the Sun in the second house opposes Mars in the eighth. You're dealing with conflicts around values and money, most likely. Sun in the second is your goal, your desire to make more, your desire to invest, your desire to be kind of free, versus Mars in the eighth is a sense that you're relying on other people for approval. You have debts that you have to pay. You're maybe dealing with a family member that is asking you for money, or a family member that's not paying you anything back, or even like a partner that is costing you money. So there might be some type of like tension there. The Sun in the second rules your ninth, so your desire to spend, you may desire to spend money on travel, on studying, on taking a writing class, for example, versus Mars in the eighth rules your fifth and 12th houses. So yeah, there could definitely be a sense that there is some kind of heavy financial obligations involving children, involving your significant partners, and like a need to problem solve and need to come up with a better financial strategy potentially, so that you're not sacrificing your priorities for someone else. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. Until the end of January, you can save in the year ahead reading. Information is in the description and in the pinned comment as well. For Capricorn rising, the Sun in the first house will oppose Mars in the seventh house. And this is, of course, your goals, your projects, versus the irritation connected to your love life, versus your partner and maybe their goals. So you may notice that, Mars has been retrograding and it came back to your seventh house of relationships on January 6th. So maybe it brought up some serious conversations, old fights in your relationship. Maybe it even brought an ex into your life. And so the Sun in the first, which is all about your self, your courage, your invention, your opportunity to be more visible, is somehow contradicted by this relationship energy. It could be, like I said, very internal, as you're just distracted by your desire to date, or by the lack of the partner, or by your ex texting you. Or it could be external, where your partner is just struggling somehow and it's taking your attention away from what you would rather be doing. Mars in the seventh rules your fourth and 11th houses, and the Sun rules your eighth. So there might also be some matters involving partnerships, involving family, your mortgage, your living situation, and your dreams, your partners when it comes to your dream projects. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and check out the description to save in the year ahead reading until the end of January, and stay patient. If you are an Aquarius rising, the Sun in the 12th house will oppose Mars in the 6th, and you are dealing with professional irritation, conflicts with colleagues, an increased workload and responsibility on you, affecting your desire to get away, affecting your desire to rest and relax. There might be some type of fires that you need to put out professionally. There might be, your email might be blowing up. There might be a lot of messages. And you may be realizing how your work situation is messing with your mental health, because the Sun is in your 12th house, and it's the time when you're being more introspective and you're like thinking of healing and improving your mental health, versus Mars in the 6th. Mars likes being in the 6th, but it could suggest, especially as it is in its fall and it is retrograde, a need for some type of adjustment in your everyday life, like a need to make things better. So you may notice a chance to have conversations when it comes to colleagues, maybe a need to rethink your schedule, to talk to your boss, and to figure out a better schedule for yourself. The Sun also rules your 7th house, so it could also be about your partner being overwhelmed and overloaded, and maybe maybe it's about their mental health affecting your mental health and sort of realizing how interconnected you and them are. For more guidance, check out anastasiadoesastrology.com. Until the end of January, save on my year ahead readings. Information is in the description. And for the lovely Pisces rising, the Sun in the 11th opposes Mars in the 5th. And there might be, with the Sun in the 11th, you want to socialize, you want to have fun, you want to network, spend time with friends. Versus Mars in the 5th, there might be some drama in your romantic life. There might be an ex coming into your life and you're out at a party and they come and crash the party and mess with your friends maybe. There may be some matters connected to parenthood or pregnancy or your child that require a lot of attention and need to be addressed. Mars in the 5th rules the 2nd and the 9th, so matters involving children could be connected to their education, to finding a better teacher for them, to maybe a teacher canceling, and like wanting to charge you more. So there might be all of these questions of like, how can you streamline your romantic life? How can you streamline matters connected to children to allow for more space to pursue your dreams, right? It can also be with Mars in the 5th, you may also be addressing bad habits or kind of getting rid of certain time wasters that are maybe pleasant but unhealthy for you. For more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. Until the end of January, you can save on my year ahead readings. You can find all of the information down below in the description or in the pinned comment. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and supporting me. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will talk to you in the next video. Stay patient, stay calm, take good care of yourself, and until next time.